If you really want to improve your violin skills, practice this every single day. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Megan. I'm a violinist and teacher. I've been playing the violin for over 20 years. I have my bachelor's and master's degrees in violin performance, and I am Suzuki trained. If you're enjoying my videos, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's one click, it's free, and it really helps me out. And if you're interested in working with me, you can check the description to apply for one-on-one private lessons and the waitlist for my online self-paced learning program, Learn Violin Online. Enrollment will be opening up at the end of August. If there's one thing that you should practice every day, no matter how long you've been playing, no matter what skill level you're at, it's this: open strings. I've been playing for 24 years at this point, and this is still something that I start my warm-up routine with every single day. So the way that you practice your open strings and the goals that you have for your open strings practice really depend on your playing level. So if you are a beginner, I would say this is the most important time to practice open strings because you have several important goals. Your first goal is to make sure that you are maintaining a proper bow hold. This means that your thumb is bent. This means that your pinky is curved and your bow hand is not slipping out of place. You also need to make sure that your elbow placement is correct for the string that you are playing on so that you don't hear any noisy neighbors, aka your bow doesn't accidentally hit other strings than the one that you're intending to play on. And you need to make sure that your bow arm is relaxed and that you are not suspending your arm or raising your shoulder. You also need to get familiar and comfortable with playing in all parts of the bow. A super common beginner mistake that I see is only using like the upper half of the bow or the middle of the bow. Now listen, I get it. The frog is definitely the hardest part of the bow to play in. It's the heaviest, and that's when your pinky has to be the most active. However, in order to become an incredible violinist like I know you want to be, you have to get comfortable in all parts of the bow, which means that when you're doing your open strings, you need to be going from frog to tip. Open string practice is also great for making sure that your bow is staying straight and parallel to the bridge. Having a straight bow is the only way you are going to get an even sound. Open string practice is also great for relaxing your bow hand and therefore improving your sound. If you are stuck in a perpetual state of beginner sound, it's highly likely that your bow hand is stiff and inflexible. So practicing your open strings will allow you to solely focus on your bowing and keeping your fingers relaxed. If you're an intermediate player, then that means you have all of these things down already. You have no trouble maintaining your bow hold, making your bow straight, or producing an even, pleasing sound. However, your challenge when playing open strings is to make sure that your bow changes are as inaudible as you can make them. Smooth bow changes are so important, especially for slow lyrical passages. You can hear that someone is changing their bow direction. That disrupts the musical line. So for smooth bow changes, there's really two things you need to keep in mind. One, you want to slightly, and I mean slightly, increase your bow speed as you approach the bow change. You don't want it to be so much where it's obvious, right? You don't want it to be so much that you can hear a crescendo. But the reason we do this is to create a little bit of momentum to help hide that bow change. The second thing is a little bit different if you're at the frog or at the tip. When you're at the frog, you'll need to drop your elbow and then change the balance of your fingers to create that bow change. So if I were to do it in slow motion, right before I change my bow, I drop my elbow, and then you can see that I curve my fingers and the pinky takes the weight. For bow changes at the tip, you can think about a circular or a figure 8 motion. So as I'm going down, I go outwards a little bit, and then as I'm coming back up, I go in, so like this. Open strings with inaudible bow changes are actually like really hard, and that is the task of an intermediate player. If you're an advanced player, obviously these are all things you're going to be monitoring, but now your job is bow control. The better we can control the bow, the better we can move it, the better our sound, the better our off-the-string bow strokes. So this is the way that I personally practice my open strings. This practice has been called many things. It's been called sans filet, it's been called the 5-minute bow. It was said that high fits could do a singular bow and make it last for 5 minutes. I'm not that good, but you know, I'm not high fits. But basically, you just try to draw your bow for as long as possible while maintaining a decent sound. This really works the tiny tiny little muscles in your hand and requires you to have so much control over the bow. It's crazy. So even if you don't have a ton of time to practice, if you devote between 3 to 5 minutes to practicing your open strings, your overall bowing will improve, which means that your overall sound will improve, which means you will improve as a player. Thank you so much for watching, and please make sure you're subscribed.